Hey everybody, what's going on? I wanted to add some stuff. I kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my story with my sound therapy experience. And I kind of wanted to give people some advice, maybe to kind of go off of what not to do. Sorry, I'm actually in my bathroom right now. There's a thunderstorm, there's loud birds squawking outside my house. So, yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time in here because it's pretty quiet. There's no windows or anything. So, when it comes to hyperacusis, number one, you need to determine whether you have loudness hyperacusis or pain hyperacusis, because that is a very, very big difference there. The thing is, a lot of the time with loudness hyperacusis, usually, unless it's middle ear related, it's sometimes in the brain too, but there's so many different pathologies when it comes to this condition. You just have to be careful with this sound therapy stuff. I've had tinnitus for a very long time. And I can tell you what my tinnitus did not like. My tinnitus did not like sounds being played directly in my ears. I mean, every time I used headphones, my tinnitus would spike. Every time. So I'm not really a fan of the in-ear generator stuff. But for some people, they've had success with it. When it comes to damaging your ears, I think the number one thing you need to do, obviously, is you need to rest your ears first. Because if you try to walk on a broken leg right away, it's not going to heal. Don't listen. If an audiologist or a doctor tells you you need to expose your ears to noise right away, don't be afraid of noise. Like that's baloney, because it's an organ. I mean, if you think about it, it's the only organ in the body that doctors and people will tell you, oh no, noise can't make it worse. All this and that, No, you damage your hearing. You need to let your ears recover and rest. I'm not going to say sit in complete silence or anything, because that's not the case for most people. But you just have to be careful around noise and not overdo it. So I was working with a couple of audiologists, and they were actually pretty good. They did mention to me, though, this is coming from really good audiologists that actually deal with, a lot of the Hyperacusis Retraining Therapy, TRT and stuff like that. He did tell me, hey, with this nerve pain, you've got to be careful. And he did say he hasn't had any success with people treating the pain, but the loudness hyperacusis, he's had a lot of success with treating people with the in-ear generator stuff. So what we did is we basically got me like a little fan and an air purifier. So before I overdid the sound therapy and made it 100 times worse, the pain, my main issue, my loudness hyperacusis was very, very severe. I mean, touching a paper bag sounded like an explosion in my head. Every single noise made my ears flutter and just sounded horribly loud. And then I did get aching pain. I did get stabbing pain from high-pitched noises. It was a mixture of both. But the pain wasn't catastrophic at this point. So what he had me do, he said, okay, Brian. He's like, I want you to sit next to your fan and your air purifier as long as you can. As long as it's not hurting your ears, as long as you can. So that's what I did. My loudness hyperacusis LDLs were probably like 30. And I could barely shower with earplugs in. It was so bad. And basically, when I'd sit next to the fan, the air purifier, I did get a little bit of like aching in my bad ear. And then after a couple minutes, it would go away and I'd be fine. After about a month, my LDLs went to about 60 to 70 for some frequencies. I mean, it helped my loudness hyperacusis a lot. Just being around low level, constant noise, it definitely helped calm things down. And I was able to take a shower full blast without earplugs. So, yeah. At that point, I was like, okay, sound therapy works. I just have to keep pushing through it, keep doing it, and I'll get better. Little did I know, when it came to about, I'd say the 7-week mark, I started getting really bad aching pain in my Knox, my pain hyperacusis ear. And I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good, and I'm like, I gotta keep pushing through it, no pain, no gain, see if I get better. I kept pushing through it. And I started noticing about the 9-week mark, I started just getting more aching pain over time. I started getting more pain attacks. I started getting stabbing pain more. I started noticing something wasn't right. So then I kept pushing through it like an idiot. I kept getting more pain. I kept pushing through it, thinking, no, I gotta do this. Low level noise cannot make this worse. Blah blah blah. And before when I was at my house, the pain hyperacusis wasn't, it was manageable. As long as I wasn't banging dishes, no high-pitched squealing noises, stuff from outside the house wasn't killing me. So I was homebound, but I wasn't suffering like an animal. So basically, I woke up one day after I pushed through one night. I was also sleeping. I was sleeping with the fan and air purifier too. And that's a big no-no, I think, with this. Some people it helps, some people it doesn't. But since I was sleeping next to it, I couldn't really tell what exactly was happening. And I woke up with just horrible, horrible pain. And the aching in my ear just got so bad. It felt like my ear was having like an actual ear attack. And then every single noise was like hurting, My LDL dropped to like literally 0. I mean, any noise going into my ears literally felt like, someone stabbing me. It felt like horrible aching pain. It was awful. It was just horrible, horrible pain. But ever since that happened, my pain hyperacusis it would flare up and get better. It always kept getting worse, but it never really got crazy bad until this. And when this happened, I woke up with, I never had a flesh wound. Some people say with this, their ears feel like it's an open flesh wound. And that's how my my bad ear started feeling. So then I had an open flesh wound, and it literally felt like that it took me 9 months for it to go away. I'm still dealing with it, So when I was dealing with that, I couldn't be around any noise at all. The sound therapy, anything would just make it instantly worse. And it's pretty interesting because the sound, the air purifier, and the fan, I can't listen to it all anymore. My bad ear just won't have anything to do with it, or else the pain will just get crazy again. So the thing with this is, I do think you have to be able to tell which case you have. If you're getting stabbing in your ears and you're having actual nerve pain, and it feels like someone's dumping acid in your ears and it feels like an open flesh wound, I really think you need to be very careful with the sound therapy stuff because, I've heard some success stories of people getting better from it with actual nerve pain, but for a good 85% of people, it made them worse or didn't do anything. If you have true pain hyperacusis and you're actually getting nerve pain in your ears, you need to be careful doing this. Do not push through it. I think if you're not getting pain from certain low-level noises, it's okay to be around low-level noise for a little bit. I think that's a good thing. But when you start feeling pain and aching, and you start feeling your ears not, they're projecting the noise, you need to stop. Stop it in its tracks, because if you push through it like I did, it'll make you so much worse. Because at that time, I could leave the house with just earplugs in and not be dying from noise, If I still didn't leave the house much because, I didn't want to mess with this at all. But now I wear double hearing protection, and it doesn't even block any noise out at all. So I think you have to be very, very careful when it comes to sound therapy. But I wanted to tell people because, like I said, some people have had major success with it, but my loudness hyperacusis, like I said, if I didn't have the pain and I already had the loudness hyperacusis, and, I would be pretty much cured by now. Literally. So if you have the loudness hyperacusis, everything's going to feel 1,000 times louder, and you're going to tell people, oh, noise hurts my ears. That's what they say. It hurts my ears, but it's not actual nerve pain. So if you're going through that and everything just feels like 1,000 times louder, making your ears flutter, you might get a little aching here and there, but you're not getting actual nerve pain. I do think your own form of sound therapy is definitely a good thing you should try. Some people with reactive tinnitus and all that, they have issues with, their tinnitus spiking, and that's another issue you're going to have to work with too, because, sometimes it makes their tinnitus worse too. I have had a little bit of pain relief from acupuncture, and I started running at night. I have to run at 3 a.m. There cannot be any cars out, or it makes my ears permanently worse, more pain. Acupuncture, the drives over were making me worse every single time. And then the third treatment, I started getting a little bit of pain relief. And then I woke up one day, and then the left flesh wound in my left ear started going away. But my tolerance to sound didn't get any better. So I just wanted to add that in there. I'm still suffering. I can't really leave my house. Like I said, I make quick trips to acupuncture and back in car rides now. So, I guess that's progress, right? But in being able to talk again, other videos wearing earplugs, I can actually talk for a short time without earplugs. But I keep having setbacks and stuff like that, so you gotta be careful. With this hyperacusis stuff as well too, you also have to make sure, people have neck issues, they have jaw issues, they have other issues that can affect ears too. So you need to make sure you eliminate all of those cofactors, because that can be another thing as well. For sound therapy, you must determine, again, I will repeat this again, you must determine if you have pain hyperacusis or loudness hyperacusis. If you have both like I did, maybe you could try universal sound therapy. If you want to do generators, I guess go for it. I don't like stuff in my ears. It makes my ears worse. It's more like a harsh sound. So if you want to find a noise that your ears like that doesn't cause pain, try to do it for a certain amount of time. Slowly increase the volume. I didn't increase the volume, but that's also why I think I got so bad. I just went to full 24/7 noise, So you need to slowly increase the amount of time you listen to the noise. So I think if you have the loudness hyperacusis, I think it's something definitely to look into and maybe try. With the pain, I'm not going to tell everybody what they should do, but I'm going to tell you guys, like I said, that's what happened to me when I did it for mine. With this nerve pain, you got to be careful. Thanks a lot.